Fall decorating continues today on my channel. Welcome to our little sunroom, somewhat empty, which is right here off of our kitchen. When I shared this space a couple of weeks ago when I was kind of pre-planning my furniture arrangements for fall, this was a breakfast room. And the more I stared at it, I thought, you know what, I want all kinds of cozy for the upcoming fall season, so I'm turning it back into a sitting room. Brought this rug in not too long ago. We had it in our living room last year. It is absolutely perfect for fall, in my humble opinion, just because of all of the beautiful colors. I'm able to link this down below in case this is something that would work in your home as well. I'm keeping the frames here just because I love that wood and white contrast, especially for fall. However, I'm going to be changing the artwork. While I love these prints and I think they would work nicely for fall, I'm going to bring back some that I had in here last year that I think might work a little bit better. And then this little accent chest was the one that I had pushed up against the love seat in the family room when I was plotting my furniture arrangements for fall, but it was just a bit too tall for the love seat, and many of you agreed. So we found a different piece for in there and just slid the accent chest right on in here. And a quick mention, I took away the blue shades that I had here for summer, brought back the white ones that I added maybe earlier this year. And while I like the blue, it's nice to see the white back. I just think that it'll work better with the color palette that I have planned for this room. And while this room was somewhat empty, I took advantage of that by cleaning the baseboards and the floor and the windows inside and out so that I have a nice clean blank slate that I'm ready to start decorating for fall. This is the artwork I'll be using. I found this last year, but what I like to do is print mirror images. So this is just 2 prints, but you can see here where the horse and carriage is on the left. Over here, it's on the right. Where the church is on the left. Over here, it's on the right. This is just my way of tricking my brain into thinking I have companion pieces when they're exactly the same, because I am slightly fascinated with symmetry. Artwork is done. I just used double-sided tape to mount the pictures to the frames. But before I add furniture, I want to do one more thing that involves a chandelier. Here's what I'm thinking. I found this garland at Hobby Lobby. It's one of my favorites. I have this in pick form and long branch form. And I'm going to see what it looks like wrapped around the chandelier. I ended up having to use 1.5 garlands for this, but I think I like it. It's very subtle. I was going to add some leaf picks, but then it just looked too much. Plus I have the little brown leaves, and I love the contrast with the white berries. The chandelier done, now I can go ahead and add furniture. These chairs have been in here before, although it's been a while. We usually opt for the smaller accent chairs just because these are larger, maybe a little bulky, but I think they'll help cozy the space up. I had them in what was the dining room, facing each other, but it just felt too much like an interrogation look. So I've angled them just to soften it. So you can still have a conversation, but you can also engage with people who are in the kitchen, which is to my left. And while I could keep it just like this, let's go ahead and crowd it up a little bit by bringing in the matching ottoman. And here it is. We're just gonna pretend that it's cozy and not crowded. As for pillows and throws, decided to go with this solid burnt orange. And then I have a little bit of texture in this linen natural beige cover. I love that fringe trim. And this really pretty throw. I'm able to link one that's very similar down below. I just really like how this palette ties in not only with the prints that I added, but with the rug. Now let's do a little something on this piece. I would love to have a basket and beautiful decanters and barware. However, I know that our cats would knock everything over very quickly. First thing I'm going to do is add this little tray right in the middle, a couple of books. And then this really pretty ceramic pitcher. It's pretty heavy, so I don't think the cats will knock it over. I'm going to fill it with two types of branches or bunches. I have these burnt orange faux ferns, and these that I've had for a few years. I opted for them because they have the cream berries and cream pumpkins that will tie in with the garland around the chandelier, and also because I'm not adding a whole lot of pumpkins elsewhere. I thought, you know, this might be a nice touch. We'll add a couple more pumpkins just to tie in with the colors up above. As you can see, I don't have a lot of room on each side. I'd love to add lamps, but because this piece is not very deep, I'm afraid any lamps I add might get knocked over, especially if they're top heavy. So how about we go with lanterns instead? I went with these lanterns for a couple of reasons. First, I like their height. They're not too tall and won't be too tempting or top heavy for the cats to accidentally knock over. And two, I like that they have the darker top, latch, and hinges. It's a good contrast, and the darker metal in there also helps to tie in with the artwork over on each side. And since I didn't add the lamps there, how about I add them somewhere else? And just for a little more texture, I'm just going to place this basket right here. And then just fill it with some magazines so you've got a, cozy little reading spot. But I have to say, I love being able to place this magazine in here again this year because I had the distinct honor of having our home featured in this edition a few years ago. Cindy Cooper had reached out to ask if they could feature our home, and having been a longtime fan of the Cottage Journal, of course I said yes, and I'm truly flattered and forever grateful for this opportunity. Well, my friends, that wraps it up for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video and will consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be back next week with more fall decorating, and I hope to see you then.